The title of my chapter is entitled The Bridge to Becoming a Powerful Leader. I believe that language is everything. In fact, I love language. So don't just think of yourself as a leader, but a powerful leader. Now, when you think about a bridge, you think about traveling somewhere. And I want everyone to travel to their destiny. So when you read this chapter, this is not some esoteric nonsense. There is a destiny, and this chapter talks about what that is and why it's necessary for you to come alive and to maximize your unique greatness, why it's imperative that you do this.
I talk about the different stages of building a company and becoming an influencer. Because beyond becoming a tech founder, I've also been called into a community leadership position, and I've started a community called Tech with Heart. It is a heart-centered, forward-thinking group of businesses to empower them to be successful in a digital era where Amazon is shutting businesses down left and right. I want to help all be successful. So this chapter that I wrote, it's called Leveling Up, a business leader's journey to success. So I hope it's very informative and empowering so that we all can reach the top of where we're going.
Dormant leaders are people inside companies that are kind of asleep. They have leadership skills. If you ask them what they do at home, they do amazing things. They're the coaches of your kids' teams. They do amazing things, but when they arrive at work, they kind of shut off. So the last tip that I had was something like dare to lead the life that you want to lead. And it was kind of a throwaway, not a throwaway, but like a little piece. Out of a 2,500 word lead magnet, it was about 500 words or so. And Rebecca said, I'm intrigued. Tell me more. So I decided, well, I'm doing this leadership anthology book. Let's just write about that. So inside this chapter, you'll actually have 5 ways to help you live the life that you want to lead instead of just having the life that you have. How can you change your life? How can you change your perspective and start to lead differently in your life and start to have the life that you want, a life that's by design instead of a life that's by accident?
Let me ask you, what your good intention and passion worth if no one experience your good impact? So I like to help with Kabbalah wisdom and NLP to help you turn your unique passion into impact and legacy. And in this chapter, I share with you 9 secrets of leadership. And I encourage you to choose a good attitude despite the challenges. Just like Joseph in the Bible, who from being a slave became a leader of Egypt. And how you become best leader? By living in internal congruency, having faith, and designing your legacy. And remember, as it says in Proverbs, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it.
There's a difference between having a role in leadership and being taught to lead. Today's tip is to help parents support their teens with creating a vision. And this is taken from my chapter, Helping Teens Step into Their Leadership Power. Sorry, had a few chapters there, titles. So leadership begins with having a vision and helping teens to have that vision of not only who they are, but who they want to become. Did you know only 20% of teens have seriously considered what their vision is? In my chapter, I give fresh insights for parents to help their teens create vision and to look at their values and their passions. Vision is especially important for teens struggling in school because it gives them something to look forward to, it increases engagement, and it helps them withstand challenges.
What I see is the complexity of the world. It means that nobody can do it all anymore. We all have to think of ourselves as leaders. So when I'm in a corporate setting and I'm talking to young data scientists, I'm saying they don't know how you did what you did, but you're telling them who's your market or who's at risk, and they have to trust you. So you need to think of yourself as a leader, and you need to learn the skills and the ways to inspire people really to believe you and trust you. And those are the real edges, I think, where we need to grow as leaders today.
I never really thought of myself as a leader, even though I was always in leadership positions. And I attribute it to my mother. I was raised by a single mother, and she just said, go, do it, right? There was no conversation about it. But what I developed in my life and what has brought me the most success is by not that push energy out there, although because I'm a performer, a lot of people have seen me in that energy, but really it's the inside work that has made all the difference. And so I have really positioned myself now as what I like to call an energy activist.
I was completely in a state of shock. I had no idea what to write. And this was here, the 7th book that I'd written. The chapter, I sat and there was nothing coming on the screen. So I was talking to my daughter about it, like, what is the deal here? I'm not an expert and I'm calling her to tell her I'm not. And part of I invite all of you to write a chapter. It's a growth process. Mine was owning to be a declaration that I'm an expert. And then if I am, how did I get there? Was I born there? All of that. And what I realized looking over my life is it wasn't a solo journey. How I got there is having other wonderful mentors in my life to hold my hand and take me along. And Rebecca's one of them.
The name of my chapter is The Leader's Secret Weapon. Wait for it. It's a gift. But I'm going to jump in the middle for you. I call listening a superpower. Why? It's a gift to hear what we say to each other. It's a gift to give your conversation partner your full attention. I had the great pleasure to work with one of the founders of what we call Silicon Valley today. Bob Noyce was CEO at Intel when I met him. He was working with President Reagan, and he had a group of 35 bipartisan congressmen that he was working with. I worked at an association, and he was on the board. One day, I needed to get his attention and ask him for information for a reporter that was on deadline. Bob, who was just leaving a meeting, stopped. I remember he looked me in the eye, and he said, "I would love to hear more about this. Walk with me." We discussed the issue, and he gave me 2 response options. Then he took my breath away. He said, "Let me know if they need to get me on the phone. I'll make time for you. Thank you, you're doing a great job." Until that moment, I didn't think he knew my name. He modeled for me how a leader takes whatever time he needs to stop, listen, and choose how to respond. He also showed me how a leader with very little effort empowers people to do what they do best.
It wasn't until about 5 years ago that I actually had somebody in a workshop that I was attending say to me, "I thought you'd lead us in this exercise. It's what I expect of you." And I went, "What? You got to be talking about somebody else. You're not talking about me." And at that point, I looked back on my life and I looked at all of the places that I had led, be it in workshops, be it in nonprofits, corporations, generals, whatever it might be. But what I found was I led from command. I'm really good at the command voice. I used to be able to actually project across a parade field to thousands of people, and they would do exactly what I said to do. And so the story is about how I moved from that to influence and really brought the feminine forward and let the man support.